Tattooing in the age of quarantine. Times are uncertain. Things are weird to say the least for the artist types and self employed and tattooers alike. We don't know what's going on, and we're not really a part of the plan and what's going to happen next. And, I've been trying to stay busy and been having conversations with friends and people ask me my opinion on what's going on and where we're going and if this is going to be long and I don't know anything more than anyone else knows. And my opinion after every conversation changes and grows a little bit by little. And I wanted to kind of share a collection of conversations with friends and compile them into one video and come out the conclusion. I quickly realized that that was kind of impossible, and I may as well just kind of put them out there for the discussion. Just as I had it, you can have it too. Write in the comments below and get your opinion out there too. Things are changing. Are we changing with it? Where are we going? I don't know. This is episode 1 of Tattooing in the Age of Quarantine with Mr. Andrew. Thank you.
Whoa, dude, stay back. You're not wearing a mask? 6 feet back, brother. You don't wear glasses at all, huh?
No, 2020.
Damn. Twice.
I wanted to, though. I lied about it in the 5th grade.
Really?
I lied about my eye test on some WPZ. Right. And then I had to wear the fucking glasses and I couldn't see anything and got headaches and shit.
It's a struggle with these. Like you have to get the bend right and then have the hunched over it just right to not get the foggy glasses syndrome. I'm not a fan of it.
Yeah, I don't got to deal with any of that.
Yeah. So how are you doing in all of this?
This whole thing's pretty crazy. It's hard to keep motivated and stay busy, but being motivated and staying busy is what keeps me from going insane. So it's like this weird double-edged sword where I'll wake up and feel like this is overwhelming and not want to do anything. And then if I don't do anything, it just gets progressively worse. And then as I start to do things, I feel better about it. So it's like, it's hard to keep the circle,
Right. I feel like it's like conditioning me. I'm already used to it. I feel like this is the normal.
I feel like this will be the normal for a long time, for sure.
This is going to change tattooing if it hasn't already.
Obviously, we know if you're a tattooer, typically you should know what you're doing about cross-contamination and stuff like that, but that's not how this virus is spread. Like imagine if AIDS was airborne,
Right.
That would change everything. And that's the problem is this virus, number one, you can have it, you can be asymptomatic. You cannot be asymptomatic, but not be showing symptoms. It takes up to 14 days, And so people can be in the shop and be sick and not know it. And the common customer is not going to realize that no matter how clean we are or whatever, they're not going to realize the safety or non-safety issues of tattooing. So we're going to need to step up at least visually to get people to come into tattoo shops because they already think, oh, there's blood, it's dirty, blah, blah, blah. And so if we want to maintain steady flow of business, steady clientele, at some point, people are going to start calling into question, well, you're dealing with blood. Maybe I can get sick there.
I hate to even put this out there, but it's like, yeah, if someone sneezes or coughs, that is airborne. It can be airborne for several hours. You can disinfect everything you want. It's running through the AC unit. Like, there is a risk every day in everyday life. And there's a risk in getting a tattoo. And this is a new risk that comes along with getting a tattoo. And we can't, they very well can just stop tattooing from happening because of that risk. And it's happening right now. But my selfish standpoint is I'm like willing to take the risk. And if someone else is willing to take the risk too, I don't know. I just want a fucking tattoo. I don't know what to do,
It's a tough situation because you want to do what's best for everyone, but that's what's best for everyone on this grandiose scale of like, no, you don't want anyone to get sick, but no matter what they freeze, rent freezes or whatever, people need to make money to live. And if we can't do what we need to do to make money, I don't care who you are. Once your pantry's empty and your bills aren't getting paid, you're going to start doing these things that you can do to make money.
Right.
And it is a risk, and it's a risk that people are going to have to take at some point until a vaccine or medicine, or until, because this thing ain't going away, you know.
Do you think that if and when the vaccine is provided in America, at least, you think it's going to be like a hustle? Like it's not going to be it's going to be something that you need, but you also have to purchase?
That's
Yeah.
the problem. And like, I'm no scientist. I don't know anything about what's going on past the stuff that I choose to read and choose to accept. But I think the couple things I've read about the US stepping out of the World Health Organization is to privatize a vaccine, because the World Health Organization doesn't do that, as far as I've seen. Of course, it costs money, but not the way America privatizes things. When this comes around, it's going to be super expensive, and it's going to be mandatory. And it's going to be one of those things where, like, oh, you're not vaccinated for it. Well, now you can't get a job,
Right.
and now we're not going to allow you to travel between states. We're not going to allow you to do these things. You can't get on a plane, So I think,
You have to get vaccines to go to certain countries already, so that does make sense, I think.
yeah, but I think they're going to do it domestically. I think they're going to privatize the vaccine. It's going to cost a lot of money, and it's going to be a way that they're going to be able to get money out of you. And who knows, like, people don't like curing diseases. Maybe the vaccine's temporary. I don't know, on some 10 steps down the line stuff. But yeah, I think it's going to be expensive, and I think it's going to be mandatory to do anything.
I think so too. It's interesting. So what have you been doing to fill your time in the meantime? What are you doing for money? What's your hustle looking like right now?
So I'm selling paintings when I can. I've done a couple commissions. I've done just a couple like random paintings that people have bought. So that's cool that people are still supporting. But right now, my dude, I'm a door dasher. I deliver food. The crazy thing is, because of the pandemic, I don't come across anybody. I pick it up from a place and put it at someone's door, shoot them a little picture like, hey, your food's ready. And I'm killing it. I'm making enough money to live for right now. So I'm totally happy with it. I obviously want to be tattooing over all things, but if I can do this and stay safe, especially in Georgia where everything's kind of open right now, I'm going to do this as long as it seems like a viable option to be safe and okay.
Well, what's happening in Georgia with the tattooing, and where's your place in it right now?
That's crazy. So Georgia opened up on like April 24th.
Whoa.
Like,
yeah.
They opened up weeks ago.
Yeah.
It is crazy because you have a lot of people that obviously don't care and don't believe in this thing. Georgia is a really like a red state for the most part, and they just think this is all kind of fluff nonsense. So our cases are shooting through the roof. My prediction is we'll be a hot spot by next month. And people are just out and about. So there are shops that are open. The shop that I work for, we haven't opened yet just because it just doesn't seem viable. We want to do the right thing for our customers, for the employees and everyone that works at the shop. And just as of right now, it just doesn't seem like the move because of Georgia's stance. Our people, and there's nothing wrong with this, people want to trust the people that are in charge of where we're at. And our governor is like, this is fine, we're fine. So the couple days before Georgia opened up, flooded with Instagram DMs, like to the point where it was shocking to be like, oh, dude, if we open up, it's not going to be a couple people that want to come in here. It's going to be like,
yeah, it's not a soft opening.
Yeah, it's definitely scary in Georgia right now because you see the potential for danger, and that's scary how quickly this thing can manifest in your circle.
I'm afraid to speak future regulation into existence.
Yeah, I feel you. Manifest it.
I know there is a change that needs to happen. I don't know if I want to be the one responsible for it to happen.
Yeah.
I don't like the idea of these definites. I like the idea of like self-governance, and what may be right for my shop may not be right for the next shop. I like the idea of the good shop and the bad shop. I don't know. Like, it's a hard one, you know, but I am afraid of a step in overregulation, which will
Yeah.
be necessary right now.
Yeah.
That won't go away when it's not needed later on from now.
It's hard to go backwards from that.
Yes.
Even from a paperwork, you know, like their standpoint as city leaders and stuff like that, it's hard for anyone to go like, okay, well, this was the ultimate safe and cool. The virus has subsided, or we have a vaccine or something. Let's take steps backwards from this moment.
Right.
I don't see that happening once regulations are put in place,
Right.
because I think this whole thing will create a fear of viruses, much like anything big that happens in the world. You have a lingering effect for years and years and years. The war on terror,
Yeah.
whatever.
I think that this feels more real than the war on terror for me.
I agree.
I don't know. I think maybe
think
a scare is worth it. Maybe we need to be maybe masks need to be a part of our identity. Maybe not every day, but you know, maybe just to stay safe. If in general, if you have a cold or a flu, fucking put on a mask, fool. Like it should just be something that should become a part of our culture.
100%.
You know, I mean, it's like I am in the middle where it's like just as much of a right as it is to be out, it should also be a right to quarantine. Like I think it's like people who are asymptomatic, they're out there spreading it and getting it. They're already spreading and getting it. And it's like, although this business is allowed to be open, you're not forced to support it. So I do find myself in the middle where it's like, if you can afford to fucking quarantine, you can do that any time of year, any year you want. But not everyone can afford to do that every year. Although it's just, I don't know.
We're all kind of just like fumbling in the dark as to what's the right move. You know, like I just try, when I get anxiety or fearful of something, I try to learn about it as much as possible. It helps my brain, it helps me function. I've been reading about this thing since January when it was just big in China. Yeah. And the thing is you always want to be prepared. And I remember a lot of my friends were making fun of me when I was like, we got to watch out for this. This is going to get out of control because of how our travel works. Mm-hmm. And it did. And that's the thing is, I would rather, when it comes to wearing masks or figuring out how to deal with this, I would rather over prepare and be like, oh, I'm a dummy. Like everyone make fun of me because I wanted to wear a mask. Then be like, man, I'm sick now. I wish I would have wore that fucking mask.
Just as gloves are an extension of tattooing, and gloves are now just as much a part of tattooing as your machine is in your hand. I could see masks becoming a part of that plan.
And I'm sure when gloves came out, when they started pushing that, a whole bunch of tattooers were like,
AIDS? Is it real?
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So this is just that new movement that this new generation is going to deal with. Like, oh, you know, and it's going to become a part of it. And why fight that? I just don't believe in making your job harder. Like, accept whatever they're going to tell you to do. Even if you think it's silly, make your money and be safe. Keep your people safe. Yeah. Wear a mask, wear a face shield, whatever you need to do to be right by everyone. Like, who cares? Like, I just want people to be safe and educated, no matter what that is. But I might be on the other side of the fence here. I don't think this is some global conspiracy. I think this is just a random event in a world full of chaos that is just not a good event. And that's it. That's the end of it. I think people will take advantage of that. Higher ups will, but I don't think this is some nefarious thing. And I think people should give it more respect than they are, because this is killing a lot of people. It's not awesome.